Hello, gamers! Welcome back. We're playing The Binding of Isaac Repentance. Yeah, baby. Let's do Tainted Eden again. At least we did do Boss Rush last time. N9NK Alya. All ya, hold on. All you girls gotta be like this. Few times been around that track. I'm not gonna. Ain't no holla back, girl. You don't hear that song too much these days, huh? Can I tell you where you did hear that song a lot? If you happen to be in 11th grade when it came out and was unbelievably popular. That's when I would say I probably in my life, my expectation is that I've heard the song Holla Back Girl, I don't know, approximately 300 times. None of them, I think, were voluntary. But I'm not insulting Gwen Stefani. I got, you know, nothing really for or against her, to be honest. No doubt about that. Ha ha ha. It's kind of like the bare minimum level joke. Okay, do not re-roll anything. It is 9:05 a.m. on a Monday here, so I'm a couple of minutes late for the start of the 9 to 5, but it is what it is. Looking forward to... Why am I doing this? Looking forward to playing some Isaac. Looking forward to having 0.52 speed for about half a second until we manage to either pick up a speed upgrade or we get hit. I was originally going to say until we get hit, because, I mean, come on, you know, it's a long time to go. But we do have Rosary Deadeye. As long as you have 2 items, those are 2 good ones. We were able to get to 13 damage on the first floor. It's pretty solid. Unfortunately, of course, there's no means for us to actually, like, not take damage in the future. Maybe if we get, like, Book of Shadows or something like that. Anyway, you know how it goes. It's Tainted Eden. Don't get too attached. I really don't know if there's anything you could do as Tainted Eden to maximize your chances of winning the game. You know what it is? I think... it has exactly the same... we can do a meme here, okay? I know you can't see me on the screen, but like in my person, obviously you can see the character I'm representing right now, but you know the meme of the 2 arms clasping, and you know it's like 2 people with a shared ambition or idea. So one of the arms you could label Tainted Lost, the other one you could label Tainted Eden, and then where the fists are clasped to one another could say, the only way to win the run is not to get hit. Something like that, or not getting hit, you know? A speed upgrade. Trade offer. I receive functional speed. I receive more than functional speed, although my rate of fire is now halved as well. Let's not stress about it too much, okay? We're doing great here. How am I doing? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Somehow, I prefer not to think of the broader implications of this. I think I might have sprained my ankle in my sleep. It's not even a getting old bit, it's just kind of weird. I went to bed happy, woke up, took one step wrong, and was just, you know, the feeling like... It's not like I need crutches or something like that, so sprain is probably not the right word, but it just, my ankle feels tweaked. When you wake up and your neck feels tweaked, or, you know, like your back feels tweaked, you're like, okay, I probably, like, had a Bluetooth earbud popped out of my... what the heck? Bluetooth earbud popped out of my ear while I was sleeping, you know, rolled right under my, like, 6th cervical vertebrae, and then, you know, here we are. When your ankle gets screwed up, just from being asleep in the bed, you start to think, do I need to speak to a doctor? Okay, Glowing Hourglass. Actually, kind of unbelievably good. I'd say we got insanely lucky, especially not least of which because I was trying to use the cleaver. And I'm pretty sure what happened is I got hit as I pressed the spacebar, and then it all... It just happened to be Glowing Hourglass, which is mighty positive for us. Forgive me. I don't think you take a deal with the devil because it doesn't matter. You know, when you pay for an item, you lose HP, you get an item, but the item gets rerolled. In my opinion, Why would we do this? No! And the rerolls are seeded, man, so it's about to get even worse. Well, maybe it's not about to get even worse, I don't know. I actually kind of like this spacebar item. Basically for that exact reason. Doesn't really matter. I mean, if there is a way that we could manifest a win, like a way to just have some influence, I should not be over I should not be on an island without the ability to fly. Seems like a recipe for disaster. If there is a way for us to influence that, I think it involves deals with the angel. That's my hunch, at least. You get a deal with the angel. You re-roll to other items maybe within the angel pool, and you don't spend HP to make it happen, so I don't know, man. I really have no idea. I think that's probably clear, but based on how much I can't form a single coherent thought, but yeah, okay, well, we got Blood Puppy, so there's that. It's not so bad. I have no idea what our trinket is. Maybe it is so bad to have Blood Puppy? I don't know, man. Let's see what the heck's going on here. Go ahead and give me an angel statue. I don't know why I said it like that. But yeah, I'm doing well, apart from the, you know, sprained ankle. Maybe I was doing a little sleepwalking overnight, a little Mike Birbiglia, you never know. Apart from that, doing well. Thank you for asking. You know where this is going. If you watch the streams for any length of time, you know where this is going. What the heck is this item room? It has a red crown. Maybe that's what this trinket does? Item rooms become strawberry flavored? Where's this going? Last night, man. Last night. What did I do for dinner last night? Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Did I marinate some chicken thighs in a mixture of olive oil, smoked paprika? Why not, man? Why not? Garlic, salt, pepper, barbecue sauce, little lime juice. Come back in a couple of hours, throw those sons of guns in the air fryer. Get that sweet sauce nice and caramelized. It'd be weird if I said no, right? Did I do that? Yeah, I did that. Was it delicious? Yeah, it was delicious. Have I been thinking about it for the subsequent, 14 hours since dinner? Yeah, I have. Any questions? That's really like the only anecdote I have, except for the fact that I also watched Palm Springs yesterday, and enjoyed it a great deal, I have to say. But I will also say, like, I think I didn't realize, and this we're turning this into a baby bit again as well. I didn't realize, like, when our daughter is 9 months old, right? She's still insanely young, but she is getting old enough and, like, cognizant enough that I think the best way to describe it is she responds to her environment, like she perceives and responds to what's happening around her. Thank you. I'm glad we didn't have to do anything, like maybe drop the trinket just to be able to pick up that knife piece. So when I'm on baby duty, which, happens every single day, let me just check this item real quick, because maybe we'd like to buy a bomb, because we can also then maybe use a bomb to go to the secret room or something like that, and I don't know, man. It's like, look, okay, give me one of these, and then my next hunch is, like, maybe we can get a bunch of spirit hearts, and that'll give us some survivability, but probably not. This is probably our secret room, then. Okay, I was looking for... Okay, that's very nice, actually. Then... I think then we're leaving. That's fine. So, sometimes, you're on baby duty, you're reading, there's some books, you're playing with some toys, you've done it all before. The adult mind still needs a little stimulation, so I'm like, oh, I'll put on a movie on the TV and just kind of watch it out of my peripheral vision, just kind of experience it, but... how dare you? How dare you? I want to watch something that, if she happens to see the TV, she's not going to, like... see somebody's torso blown apart by a shotgun blast or something like that. So comedies are a pretty good they're on the level for that, I would say. Most of the time you're watching a comedy, you might expect that there'd be some mature humor, but most of it is going to be verbiage based. It's going to be very hard to for a 9-month-old child to parse all that, and I think that that's kind of the happy medium. And then, of course, you know, like I Turn on Palm Springs is a critically acclaimed comedy, you know, released last year. That the only thing I knew about it is that it's kind of like Groundhog Day. Within 45 seconds of the movie opening, there's a scene of coitus, which is, you know, again, I'm not one of those people that is like, you know, it's okay if my child, you know, plays Grand Theft Auto 5 and is like, you know, running people over, but if they ever see an areola, then I've failed as a parent. But the flip side of that is I also didn't anticipate, you know, reckoning with that on that very moment. I didn't think I'd have to deal with that, you know, when you're talking about a 9-month-old child. So I thought I would just skip over this. And then like a minute later, a dude gets shot in the heart with a bow and arrow. This is not really spoilers for the movie, by the way. I definitely would recommend it. So I waited and I finished the movie later, you know, when I was not on baby duty. But it just goes to show you, man, I think I finally understand. I used to laugh at those websites. It was like Common Sense Media, you know, should I let my 5-year-old kid watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Now I'm like, dude, I gotta start going to that website before I watch, like, literally anything. Movie, especially a piece of media that subverts your expectations. It subverted my expectations, and I laughed, and then I thought, what kind of influence is this having on my child? By the way, everyone's probably like, I'm sure it's fine, but... And for the record, you're probably right, but it's different when you're playing with, you know, your own money, you know what I mean? It's very easy to parent somebody else's children than when it's your child and you're like, you know. Not to mention, it's not just your child, it's your family as well. I don't want Kate to come downstairs as a dude lighting another dude on fire or something like that. She's like, what are you watching? I have no idea, by the way, what I'm doing here. I have no concept of what's happening. Remove that item and give me the Bible just simply because I'm scared. Anyway, long story short, Palm Springs, recommendable. If you're over the age of 9 months old. If you're under the age of 9 months old, I might give it a pass temporarily. No wonder, you know, parents and young kids end up watching, like, you know, Disney movies 24/7, man. You know, at no point is, like, one of the 7 dwarves gonna pull out a flamethrower and try to start, you know, cooking some people. Which I appreciate, you know. Don't get me wrong, I can get down with the Tarantino films myself as an adult, but probably a little, I don't know, how old should you have to be to watch Pulp Fiction? I don't know, maybe like, at minimum you should be in 1st grade, let's just put it that way. I am going to use the Forget Me Now here. I have no concept of what Wildcard does. Let's just use it, man. Let's finish this room first, because I don't really want to go through this again if I can avoid it. I have no idea what's happening. But don't get hit, because then you'll lose your everything, really. I'm drowsy. So it's like a question mark card, but not it's like a question mark pill, but in card form. I don't know, man. Anyway, that was my Sunday. It was good. That's about it, though. I am literally I'm like searching, begging for the location through text of like the next anecdote. I tweeted out a notepad document. I realized that there's a huge con to a 2-day weekend, okay? When I used to work, I mean literally like I would record every single day of the week, very few banters, oh my god, dude. Or very few banter anecdotes slipped into the memory cracks, you know? Now, and it's not a sign of like cognitive decline or anything like that, but I am, you know, I have 2 days off on the weekends, Sometimes Friday night, I'll have something pop into my head, and I'll be like, oh, you should make sure to mine that for a little bit of entertainment on the stream this week. And then I'm like at the end of the week, and I realize I haven't talked about it at all. So I started, I'm considering the idea of keeping, and this is super lame, but also thus in character, of keeping like a notepad document or like even a Moleskine, which is just a handheld like journal or something like that, where when you encounter something you want to talk about, you write it down in there so that you always have a little bit of banter to come by. Now, I've never needed one of those in the past, but simultaneously, hey man, if you've never driven a car, you know, if you live in an era with the horse and buggy, you're probably like, why would I ever need that? You know, I've got this perfectly fine horse and buggy, and then all of a sudden you get behind the wheel of, you know, Ford Model T Plaid Edition. It goes 0 to 60 in 0.3 seconds, and you're like, okay, now I get it. No horse is keeping up with this thing right here. What I'm saying is it might turbocharge the banter. I've already been here. I have not already been here. Have I been to our item room? Does it matter because everything gets re-rolled constantly? Good point. And I wrote down in it something that I had never realized before. In the 500 times in my life that I'd listened to the song Regulate by Nate Dogg and Warren G, it never dawned on me. Warren G says, I got guns to my head. I think I'm going down. I can't believe this happening in my hometown. If I had wings, I would fly. Let me contemplate. I glance in the cut and I see my homie Nate. Nate Dogg, of course. And I was listening to the censored version by Happenstance last night, which is hilarious. When you... The song is just about murdering people. I mean, in self-defense, but still. And then the censored version goes 16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn, and they censor cold. Like, okay, that's the first time in Repentance I've ever seen 2 straight brimstone beams in a row from this guy. There's a first time for everything. They're like, everything else in the song is fine, but please do not insinuate that you're murdering them by making their bodies turn cold. Anyway, I don't know, man. Maybe we will check this. No, because then who cares? Who cares now that I think about it? Who cares, man? Because it's just going to get re-rolled anyway. Or, on the other hand, what if we just take it? Because we're going to get HP on the next floor anyway. Anyway, so Warren G he's about to be murdered for his rings and his Rolex, right? And then Nate Dogg comes in, literally saves his life, you know, through violence. Okay, there goes Brimstone, fair enough. Next line, now they dropping in yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate. Nate Dogg in this song might actually be the best fictional sidekick, like in terms of gassing up his partner. Like, he's like the Samwise Gamgee of hip-hop, you know what I mean? Possibly yes, possibly no. 2 different hats, okay. What an item room, at least it's themed. Warren G really played no part in the regulation, except for being a victim. Nate Dogg came in, saved his friend's life, and yet when he has the opportunity to tell the story, does he say, oh yeah, that's when I saved him? Nah, he says, as a team, we succeeded. That's, honestly, I think you need to find people in life that treat you like Nate Dogg treats Warren G. Because, you know, at some point in his life, Nate Dogg may have found himself, you know, hemmed up. I forget the rest of the lyrics of Regulate, to be honest, but, you know, he might have needed some help. He might have needed some regulation, and he knows now, you know, through the social norm of reciprocity, he can rely on Warren G to have his back. By the way, we're about to die. We're dead. I don't like this character. I know, you know, I didn't play the best run that's ever been played. I just don't get it, man. And now this guy's got a mouthful of cherry pie making me feel gross. I haven't been shy about my thoughts about this character, but, like, genuinely, it's... If you just re-rolled like a little less, like if you re-rolled almost everything about your person, wouldn't be so bad, but it's not so bad, but it's kind of, it's just annoying, you know? I don't think I... Okay, that... Let's be honest, that's my fault. On the other hand, F you. And then the Tinted Rock was trash to begin with. Do we have IBS on this one? Anyway, so that I wrote that down in my little notepad document because I wanted to talk. I really do think it's a great lyric. You know, that they talk about, you know, learning without learning or learning without teaching. You know, that old classic video game chestnut, where, you know, a tutorial is boring when it very laboriously goes like, you know, beep, 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 use the left stick to move around. But if it just presents you with an obstacle and the only way to get past it is to, you know, examine the mechanics that are available and come up with the solution yourself, you're like, oh, that's more fun, right? That's kind of how I feel. Like that one line from Regulators, and you might be saying it doesn't mean that much. Dude, it matters. It says so much, in one sentence, it says so much about Nate Dogg's strength of character. He does not take credit for it. There are people in my life, I'm not going to say it rhymes with Alf. If Malf saved me from being robbed by some armed gunman, he would not be like, yeah, you and I had to regulate. He would probably say something like, no prob, Bob, or something like that. So I'm not trying to rag on him. But I think for the rest of my life, he would also, anytime I tried to, like, express disagreement with him, he would be like, hey, remember that time I saved your life from, you know, those people that were taking your rings and taking your Rolex? I looked at the Malfi, said, dang, what's next? We have no idea what the... I mean, is that the wild card? I don't know. It certainly looks like a card from Uno. Luckily, maybe we can't afford it right now. Let's throw a bomb down. Could be fun. Fun trinket as well. It is the wild card. Wild card. Da-na. You make my... Okay, let's not... You make everything confusing. Wild card. Sorry, I'm just gonna caffeinate here if you don't mind. Anyway. Yeah, so that's what I got written down. I don't think, I mean, look. I understand it. So lucky, so unlucky. If you see someone in like a piece of media and they're using a journal or something like that, or, you know, there's always, I think whenever you see someone writing something down in the modern era, there's a temptation to be like, what, you think you're better than me? That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm literally just, you know how many, I'm like a bit fountain, and I don't mean that everything that pops into my head is smart. You know, I come up with a lot of dumb stuff. But I would like to capture more of it. I think some of it is just leaking through the cracks. Because I'll come up, you know, when I'm showering, I'll come up with like a great bit. And then by the time I'm, like, you know, putting my trousers on, I've already forgotten about it. Just because I know there's more to come. It's like, you know, when you got clean water coming out of your taps, you might not be the greatest steward of an Evian bottle. You're doomed through surplus, you know? And I feel like that allows me the opportunity to at least remember these bits. So, I don't know, we'll see. Probably in, like, less than 24 hours, I will never use this notepad document again, but we'll see. Okay, I think we got very lucky on this floor, quite frankly. I have no idea how the run's going to go in general, because, of course, it's Tainted Eden, so you never know how the run's going to go in general, but the stats are pretty strong. And in some ways, I guess Aura is like a really great item to have as Tainted Eden, because if you get hit, you lose the bonus, but you also lose the item, so it's really just like a prodigious stat increase in one area for a little bit. Okay, and a very little bit it was. Well, that really puts a damper on whatever I was going to talk about there. It's whatever, moving on. So yeah, I'm excited for this week. I will say, this is like the, I had a very restful weekend, which is a big positive. And I'm learning how to deal with that 2-day weekend more as time goes on. And I know it sounds like kind of ridiculous. Like, what do you mean you're learning how to deal with it? Well, it's like I'm learning to embrace having a little bit more downtime where I literally have nothing to do. You ever wonder why, like, you know, when I was a kid, on the weekends, my parents, like, a middle-aged weekend is a lot different than what a, like, 9th grader's weekend looks like. Now, when it's 9 a.m. on a Saturday and you're 14 years old, you know, for me, living in the suburbs, that was like prime video game hours. I'm so happy to not be in school at like 7:45 a.m. I liked school, but, you know, the fact that you gotta be there so early in the morning seems like crazy to me, even to this day. But my parents, you know, I would always assume, like, hey, school's one thing, but, you know, work is harder, or, you know, whether in the actual duties or just spiritually, you know, knowing you have to do it for, like, the next 35, 40 years. On the weekend, though, they never seemed to, like, relax the same way I would relax. They would always be like, okay, it's like 8 a.m. We're going to go to the grocery store, knock out some errands. Your dad's going to, like, try to replace the trim on the floorboards and the crown molding and the, you know, the kitchen and stuff like that. Like, they were... Okay. They were always getting up to, like, you know, domestic to-do lists and stuff like that. And it took me until, like, I think this year to actually, like, understand the merit of that. Now, that's what I look forward to on the weekends as well. Like, I delude myself at first. I say to myself, like, oh, it's so awesome, it's the weekend, I can just relax. And then as soon as, why not? As soon as the weekend's here, I'm like, oh, it's 8:15 a.m., better start cleaning the bathrooms. And you know what it is? It's because of the fact that as an adult, I think, you do delayed... Well, I shouldn't say as an adult, but as you get older as an adult, I think you're more likely to get into this idea of, like, delayed gratification. And I know that's, like, boppable, but that's not really what I mean. You know, I feel like I can't fully relax until all the chores are done. Now, there's some exceptions. Like, inevitably, you know, I can relax between January 1st and income tax deadline day, despite the fact that my taxes, you know, might not be filed until a couple of days before the deadline. I'm not going to flex. I'm not a day of the deadline guy. I'm like, you know, the couple of weeks of the deadline guy. I don't see a reason to stress out more than is necessary. But certainly, you know, when I was a kid, at least, I was like, oh, who cares, you know? We could relax now, you know, there's still vacuuming to be done later. Now, I'm like, I don't know. I'm not doing a good job of describing it, but, you know, now that I have 2 days in a row, I no longer feel like it's an incredible... Well, incredible is not the right word to begin with, but I no longer feel like, oh, it's such an enormous inconvenience to have to, you know, vacuum the house or something like that. Now I'm like, dude, I got so much time. Even if I dedicate, like, my entire Saturday in service of the household cleaning, like, I still got all of Sunday to, I don't know, start learning how to bake bundt cake and stuff like that. I'm slowly figuring it out. What it means. You know what it is? It's the dawning realization. And I should stress as well, like, you know, I'm not complaining about the way that I live my life in my 20s. I think I've had a relatively fulfilled existence so far. But in my 20s, like, I'm increasingly coming to the realization that I literally just had no hobbies. Please. I thought that was a secret room, maybe. Like, I went like a decade without really having any sustained extracurricular activity. That's fine. I didn't like that run anyway. There were arcs, don't get me wrong. Like, I went back to school for programming for a bit, like for 3 or 4 years. That was cool. Got into working out. Got into Magic the Gathering for a bit. That was not a high point for me. But there were periods of some hobbies. But to a large extent, you know, it was a situation where really my entire life, that was a good one, was just 100% characterized by my occupational duties. And it still is. Like, I'm for better or worse, you know, when you're in this line of work, you are kind of like, it's hard to divorce your real identity from the person that you are online, because you are always online, but also, you know, unless you're doing something like Dr. Disrespect, you're kind of like you have either a shade of your real self that's involved in everything that you do, or it's just you. But now I'm like, my new hobby is searching for a hobby. And I don't know, that could take like a decade, but I'm starting to figure out how you fill up these 2-day weekends. Might take me a while. For now, though, I gotta say, let me give you a preface. I'm realizing we're like half an hour in here, and I'm going nowhere because I've got no semblance of continuity on this run whatsoever. But this is usually commentary you get to like either an hour and a half or 10 seconds in. But yesterday, after dinner, I went into my office and I said, "Thank you for cleaning my office, by the way." And then my wife said, "I didn't clean your office." And then I looked at my office and I looked at her and I said, "You're telling me I did this?" And she said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Wow, thank you, me." Ash Pit 1, okay. I chored up so much, okay, I guess I'll just be dead. I chored up so much on Sunday, I didn't even remember. It's a good feeling, though. I don't know what to say. Like, first off, I'm dead with a spirit art, which is a little bit of a slap in the face. Secondly, I just feel like I never went anywhere on that run, but that is gonna do it. I apologize for this rambling and pointless episode, but I don't enjoy this character. Maybe this is a stream character and we'll try running some Tainted Jacob runs or something like that. But for now, thanks for watching. I appreciate you joining me on this bottle episode, Slice of Life. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. And twitch.tv/NorthernLion, of course. I'm live 11 to 4 every weekday, trying to figure out what to do with my life. Come suggest some hobbies for me. Pitch and putt maybe is on the horizon. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!